It's that time again. Time for 24 Minutes with Brady and Stacy.
Let's switch channels. This show is dull.
You bet.
24 minutes is all we have to talk about today's topics and news and views and listener suggestions.
All that good stuff that Brady and Stacey have brought for years, right here for you. We'll start a timer at the beginning of the show, 24 minutes. At the end of the timer, the show's done.
It doesn't matter if we're solving world hunger or brokering for world peace. Once that buzzer goes off, we're done.
Let's put this show out of its misery.
Now on with the show.
Hey there, welcome to another edition of 24 Minutes with Brady and Stacey. I'm Bob Brady.
I'm Stacy Sturm.
And I'll get Ziggy going. Ziggy, set a timer for 24 minutes.
What?
24 minutes, starting now.
That's all we have, Ezra, is 24 minutes. That's
Yeah,
it.
see,
Done. It's
that's
over.
it.
You better start asking then.
That's it.
Oh, we're good.
Because knowing Ezra, he needs double time, man. He can talk forever. So our special guest today is a good friend of mine. Love this guy to death. He's one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. Esera Tuaolo. He played for Vikings, Packers, Jags,
Atlanta.
and
Jaguars, and the Vikings.
I-
Why did I forget the Vikings?
Vikings, Packers,
They're-
Jags.
They're very forgettable, Ezra. As a Viking fan,
Oh, come
they're
on.
very forgettable.
Not last week.
Oh, my God.
You were trending on everything. Yeah,
That was awesome.
It
Yeah.
was. You know, it's so crazy because obviously you guys saw the game, or one of you saw the game.
Yeah.
But Josh Dobbs, who we just got on
You
Halloween,
just picked him up, yeah.
just picked him up on Halloween, and he had like 3 or 4 days to practice with the team. He didn't even take any snaps. He was just sort of like learning the plays. And then Jalen Hall goes down on a concussion, which is like, seriously? Like, anyway,
Yeah.
and then Josh comes in and just kind of takes over, and it's incredible. You know, he's a little rattled in the beginning, but then
Yeah, I heard he had a rocky start, but
Rocky start. He got a
Yeah.
safety. You know, he got his. I think his first play was a safety. You know,
Yeah.
sort of
Yeah.
like, right?
Yeah.
And then, so everybody obviously was like, "Oh, he's gonna be horrible." You know, everybody on
Right.
Instagram and TikTok, and you know, the guy just, you know, he's a professional. The dude came in and he did what he needed to do. And I think, you know, the coaching staff's got to be commended because those guys were just completely working with him on the sideline. You had the offensive line working with him on the cadence. I mean, it was like a group effort by everyone, which was incredible. So
As a former NFL player, I mean, like
Yeah.
you said, he came in on Tuesday. Didn't start, but he came in Sunday.
right.
He's been a journeyman quarterback. He's a rocket scientist. He went to
Yeah.
Tennessee, blah, blah, blue. So he's a smart guy.
Yeah.
How tough is that to come in and just do what he did?
Oh, completely. It's super tough. Is that a word? Yeah, super tough. I mean, to come in, to learn a different philosophy, to learn a whole playbook, you know, in a short amount of time, and then thinking you have like this, you know, like a week or two to learn the whole playbook, and then boom, you get pushed
You get
into
thrown
the-
in, yeah.
into the mix, right? And it's like you could see on his face, it was like, okay, you know. But as the game was going on, you could just see how comfortable he was looking and how incredible, you know. After he got that first quarter touchdown, it was like, yeah. And but you know, I was with the I got that happened to me with the Jaguars. So in the middle of the season, I got picked up by the Jaguars, and they just threw me into the defense. Give or take, like the defense is a lot easier, right? Than you know, being the quarterback and having to learn, you know,
everything.
all the plays.
Yeah.
I just had to learn like one position, you know. It was hard. It was difficult, but I commend him for coming in and just, you know, taking control. And now he's like trending. People love him here. And, you know, I hope this is the beginning of something great, you know.
So now I have to, I don't know much about him. Did he play on another NFL team before this?
Like 5 other different ones. Yeah.
Okay.
He got picked up by the Cardinals because the Cardinals were trying to tank to get Caleb Williams.
Right.
Kyler Murray's still on whatever he is. So the Cardinals had him until like week 8, and then they cut him.
Right.
And then they traded him. Sorry, they traded him to the Vikings.
Yeah.
And he was with the Browns, with the Steelers at one time. He's been around.
Washington, I believe.
Yeah.
He was with a couple teams and bouncing around. And I'm hopefully that he found his home here in Minnesota. So yeah.
Yeah, that's the key, right? Because, you know, what's Kirk going to do? Like, is he going to come back? Like, he's at that age where what's the decision? Do I come back and play?
His contract's up.
Yeah.
And so, you know, obviously he's out for the season. So hopefully we can win a Super Bowl for him as he like exit. Then I think he might go to another team. Or I have no idea. I can't guess anything right now. What's happening at the Vikings, because a lot of stuff is happening there.
Do you remember your first NFL game?
Oh,
do you remember your first NFL game when you played
Batman?
Yeah.
So a week before the game, right? I was like the second string nose guard for the Green Bay Packers, right? Second string. They throughout the whole camp, they kept the first string nose guard. And so here I am. I'm like, okay, I get to chill, relax, I get to just back people up.
Collecting that NFL money, just having a good time.
Yeah, having a good time, back people up. Like 3 days before the game, they cut him. And then they put me as number one, like the starter, right? And I'm like, excuse me, like what? And so my first game was against Philadelphia, against Cunningham, the unsackable, right? He was like, he was like Michael Vick, Hurst, Julian Hurst, all these, like he was incredible. And I remember going in there and the second series, getting a sack. I sacked him, and oh my gosh, it was awesome, right? It was awesome in the fact, I got to sack, my first sack in the NFL, my first start, all of that. But then again, I blacked out because obviously you guys know, I'm part of the LGBTQ community. I was in the closet for 9 years. So I blacked out because I heard my name echo through the stadium, and it was sort of like all eyes were on me. And so I got an anxiety attack. It was just crazy, But anyway, that was my first game. I ended up, starting all 16 games for the Green Bay Packers. It was the first time in Packer history that a rookie started, and it was so much fun, right? It was so much fun. I think my rookie year I got like 48 tackles or 50 tackles and 3.5 sacks. So it was pretty cool. Yeah.
I was going to say, were you the last one to sack John Elway? Is that correct?
Well, not sack. He just took the thing about people don't understand. Like at the end of the game, he took a knee. I was closest. I touched him, and I get the credit for the.
I got it.
Right. So, but then again, the last person to tackle him sounds better.
Yes, take it.
Or sack. The last person to sack in sounds a lot better, but no, it wasn't.
That's what it says in the records. Is you sacked him. That's the way it is. Like it doesn't say he took a knee.
Yeah, then I sacked him. Yes, I sacked him. Yeah,
that's correct.
Yeah. Hey, talk about coming out.
I'll choose that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Talk about coming out, Ezra. Like we know the NFL. It's all dudes, right? Like it's guys and men, and back in the 70s and 80s, and you got Dick Butkus and these guys. What is going on now? It's pretty open, right?
Yeah, well, it's open. Definitely, we have. Last year was our first year ever having an openly active gay player, Carl Nassib. I think he was playing for the Raiders at the time. Yep. He was the first, and so when I came out in 2002, it's been a while. We've never had an out active player. And so when I would go speak to schools and corporations, the question was like, when is the first? Well, last year I got the answer, right? Carl Nassib, 2003, right? And so, but things are definitely, right, is moving forward, right? It's continuing. I'm still, there's still a few things we need to work on, but other than that, it's moving in the right direction. So,
do you still do a lot of work with the NFL? It seems to me like you're still at a lot of NFL stuff when I see your Instagram stories.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of for the Minnesota Vikings. They have a legends program here, which gets you out to the community, do a lot of charity work, stuff like that. So I've been doing that a lot. Working with the NFL, I've met with the NFL for my the inclusion party my Hate is Wrong is my organization, and so we do an inclusion party and an inclusion panel, right, where we bring in experts from around the country to talk about inclusion, diversity. This year, we're going back. We've been gone for 3 years because of COVID. And so this is going to be our first year back. What Hate is Wrong is we sort of kind of bridge the gap between sports and the LGBTQ community. We raise money for anti-bullying programs. And the reason why I would do an inclusion party and panel at the Super Bowl, just for recognition, right? To make sure people understand that someone like me, a gay former NFL player, exists, right? Because a lot of times people don't, they don't get it. But now that we have more guys that have come out, This year, I'm going to bring all of them together so then we can just sort of have representation and make sure people understand that we were part of it, right? So, and sometimes when I came out, people started like chopping at me and telling me, like, "Oh, you're horrible," or like, "Oh my gosh, you probably rode the bench." I'm like, you should use the Googleizer because in my 9 years, I have 200, I have more than 200 tackles, right? In the NFL, a lot better than a lot of other guys. So you just need a Googleizer and search your facts instead of opening your mouth before you do it, right? And so, but I got to tell you this, a lot of times I used to believe all the negativity that people were telling me when I came out, right?
Yeah.
But then I started looking at myself in the mirror and I started looking at my stats and I started comparing it with other players and stuff that was in my position. And I was like, shit, they can't even hold a candle to me. Like, sir, like, it's just sort of like, and then I just thought to myself, wait a minute, I was good. Like I did contribute to the NFL. I did, help the Atlanta Falcons get to the Super Bowl in 1998, right? I played, I was there. And so that's why it's sort of like now I think it's more than ever, it's really important that we just continue to push our, education and just to push the information that we have. So.
Well, and it's crazy to think that you would be the only gay NFL player. So what you're doing is awesome because statistically in the NFL right now, there's way more gay players.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Than people would even think.
And I will say this on your thing, like, I do have people reaching out to me. A lot of them that retired, right? And so and they all reach out, and it's sort of like, but they don't want to come out, and I respect that. I get that. It's all good, right? I've met a couple of them and stuff. It was great just to have a good conversation with them, and and so they appreciate it a lot. Someday, and that's why I want to bring all the NFL players together, all the ones that came out, so then we can just sort of kind of form a group and just make sure people understand that we exist. Right. Basically.
So I'm going to change gears here real quick because you were on that 98 Falcons team that beat the 98 Vikings team, which was probably the best Viking team in all of history.
Yes and no, right? Offense best,
yes.
Right? You guys were scoring 40, 50 points that year. I was like, but then defense, no. It was like people were scoring on you. Like, it was like you were winning like 40 to 37. Like
exactly.
So as a sucked that year.
But the offense. So as a former Viking, you played there 2 years prior. What are you thinking when Gary Anderson misses that kick? I mean,
to tell you the truth and stuff, I'm not thinking much because they're still up 10 points, 2 possessions, right? In like less than 2 minutes, right? In the game. So you're still up. So obviously, then it goes to the coaching part of it, right? And how they coached. And so it was sort of like, it was, we really didn't know we were going to do, we were going to win until they took the knee. When they took the knee with 8 or 9 seconds left in the game, where they could have did like a Hail Mary or, take it down. We just had the feeling like, okay, we're going to be all right. Like, this is why did they take the knee? Like, we were shocked, right? That they had Chris Carter and Randy Moss on their team, 2 of the best, and Jake Reed, 3 of the best in the NFL. And Dante Culpepper. And so
and Robert Smith.
And Robert Smith, so it was like, take a shot, right?
Right.
Now in the NFL, you see there's like 5 seconds. People can get like, 4 plays off in like 5 to 10 seconds, It's sort of like, they know how to play the sideline. And so it was crazy when they took that knee. That's what gave us like the energy, I think, and the belief that we're going to win. We're going to the Super Bowl. And then, the crazy part of that, I love my Vikings. I really do. I'm here. My heart's in Minnesota. I love them so much. Right. But at the end of the game, they were wearing their championship hats already.
Yeah.
And so when it went to overtime, we were seeing like Coach Dennis Green was grabbing the hats off and throwing them down, like telling them, like, we could see that from our end. Like,
of course.
What that gave us was fuel. Like, wait a minute, like, you're putting on the helmets, you're celebrating already. Excuse me, what are you talking about, right? And so it was sort of like, that was the year. The Vikings, it was an amazing team. You guys we would have beat Denver that year. Minnesota Vikings would have beat Denver that year. It was just that before the game, one of our players, got busted. It was a prostitution.
Oh,
sting.
that's right.
And it was like, the meeting in the morning was like a funeral. Like, it was silent, right? When it was supposed to be like, everybody was like thinking, what the,
right.
Yeah.
Like, what timing? This is the worst freaking timing you could ever have.
Yeah, timing, right? His wife, good person. No, don't get me wrong. Good person, good guy, just a bad mistake. Right?
Yeah, bad choices.
Bad mistake. And so that game they picked on it. I know one person doesn't, but I think just the whole vibe and the energy deflated, right? And then we were the #1 red zone team in the country that year. Was in this red zone 7 times, and we only scored 4. Like, 3, one touchdown and 3, kicks. It's like, it was crazy, right? So
anyway. It was that was tough thing. But back to hate is wrong. So
but thanks to reminded me about that shit. No, I'm just kidding.
no, you're fine. Please. No. So back to hate is wrong. So what is the focus in 2024 for you guys? Like, what's moving forward?
Well, I think the focus, again, we had to take some time off. I think a lot of organizations did because of COVID, right? Sort of revamping and stuff like that. Our mission's always been to spread the aloha and the love out there, to educate people on, on things, and just to sort of kind of eliminate hate, right? That's the thing, eliminate hate. For us, going back, representation, educating people on the LGBTQ community, who we are. It's like, so that's sort of like our goal again, just to get back where we were, right? To help these kids, to help, educate people and stuff like that, and show the love, right? We got to show the love out there. There's so much hate right now in the world, right? I stopped watching TikTok and stuff like that because it's just crazy, right? How things are happening in this world. So
do you notice a shift in the past few years of people being more accepting of your organization, or is it kind of stagnant?
No, I think it's been definitely a lot more people have been very much accepting of it, because hate in any form is wrong. It doesn't matter how you sugarcoat it and how you look at it, right? So how can an organization and stuff that want to spread love and want to educate people, not just on LGBTQ issues, but any other things, right? I mean, even bullying. People are like, well, do you just support like the gay kids? No. Bullying is across the board. Like, come on. Every kid, right? It's so like no one gets left behind. And the reason why I tell people this, because the big question is, why do you speak so strongly that? Because I was bullied when I was a kid, right? I was molested as a kid. I was bullied. I was beat. I was doing all that. And I don't want that to happen to anyone else, right? And so I think, and so that's my goal in life right now, is to raise money for a lot of these smaller organizations and stuff that don't really get the money from government, funding or anything like that, and just to help them to spread the love, right? Spread the love. So the money that we raise at the Super Bowl party, 100% of that goes to nonprofits for anti-bullying. So,
well, if you look at it, like you're doing life-saving work, because the suicide rate amongst bullied kids and LGBTQ kids, those kids is incredibly high. And if not suicide, then running away, getting caught in human trafficking. Like there are so many horrible alternatives.
It's so crazy. Before it was like in the schools, right? The bullying was, in the school. Now we have cyberbullying, which is so much easy. We have, it's so heart-wrenching when you have these kids and stuff telling other kids you should take your life. Like, it's sort of like, I don't get it, right? Where are you? What are your parents saying? What are you like? It's just so crazy how things are happening now, and how kids they find ways to bully other kids and to convince them to do things. It's like, are you kidding me? And so I try to get in there. We have a leadership conference coming up for athletes here in Minnesota, just to sort of like get ambassadors of love, ambassadors of hate is wrong, to make sure that they understand that what they need to be is leaders and not followers, right? And so I try to get there. I try to do a lot of high schools, grade schools. I try to get out there and to educate, to speak. And so it's one of those things. It's my mission. I love it. I absolutely love it. And people are also loving it as well. So,
well, before the timer kicks off on us, I don't want to miss out, but go to hateiswrong.org. I don't know how much time's left. I have no idea, but I know that it's coming up. Go to hateiswrong.org and donate. Check it all out. You can donate right there. It's awesome.
Yeah. And
Awesome.
Ezra, you're really trying to focus on getting out and speaking now, aren't you?
Right.
Like taking speaking gigs. So if people want to have you
Yeah.
at a conference or at a
Yeah.
whatever it is, you'll definitely talk to them about speaking gigs.
Right, and they can reach me on hateiswrong.org, or they can find me on my Instagram. It's just mraloha98 or just my name on both. And then just reach out to me. I'm also a chef. I love to cook too. I do like chef dinners for a charity. Just finished up Firefighters for Healing, an amazing organization here. I have been with them for since day one. This is their 8th year. They sell out every single year, and I always donate a chef dinner. And I think I've raised over $200,000 for them just by doing my chef dinners. So, and I love it, right? Something I can give back to the community, and they are such an amazing organization. So firefightersforhealing.org. So
You also like to sing too.
Let's
singing,
talk
The
about The
Voice.
Voice. Let's talk about The Voice, Ezra.
The Voice was awesome.
How did you wind up on The Voice? So one day you're performing in Bismarck at the Bell for the North Dakota Music Awards, and then all of a sudden I have people text me. They're like, you're friends with Ezra, right? I'm like, yeah, I guess I consider myself a friend of Ezra. He's on The Voice right now? I'm like, what?
Funny. They contacted me out of the blue. Seriously, I thought it was a joke. So when they contacted me, I said, like, I'm 50, right? Because most of the time on those shows, you have all these young 18
Young kids.
I'm 17. Like, holy shit, and then here this comes this 50-year-old, right? And they're like, yeah, we know you're 50. And it's like, okay, and if it's not a joke, send me the information. Before you know it, I was in Chicago doing this private audition and then flying to LA to, for the blinds. And it was sort of like, okay, this is cool. Yeah, it was cool. But the best part, before the timer goes off, my kids weren't around when I have twins, 2 beautiful twins.
Yep.
Their birthday was
They just had their birthday. I was going to say happy belated birthday.
23 years old, how the time flies. They weren't around when I played in the NFL, but this was something I could give them. And it was so awesome because I became the cool dad, and it was awesome. Yeah, it was absolutely awesome. So
Team Blake, you were Team Blake, right?
Yeah, Team Blake. Yeah, that's why I did the reference.
Yeah.
According to the Wikipedia, it's always got to be true. Jennifer Hudson and Blake Shelton both turned their chairs to see you.
Yeah. So people thought I was going to go Jennifer because I
would have figured too. Yeah.
Big voice. But to tell you the truth, somebody told me that Blake was a homophobic. And so that's why I chose him. But he's far from that. I mean, how can you get married to Gwen Stefani and be homophobic, right? And
That's
so
true.
and not only that, I just want to see for myself, but I knew also my strategy, everyone with big voices was going to go over to Jennifer Hudson. So I went over to Blake. It worked really well for me. I loved it. I was I went to the playoffs. It was great. I knew I was going to get voted off because my contract with The Voice was horrible for them. And so my lawyer said, they signed it, but just know you're going to get voted off because if you go on live and you win, they have no control over you. And so people don't realize this stuff. Shows like that, you sign away 6 to 10 years of your life, right?
Yeah.
So anything that you started, like a clothing design, they get percentage. You start something, they get percentage because they think they give you like the recognition. But it's like, I've been in the NFL and I was on Oprah. What else are you going to give me?
Yeah,
like,
Oprah and Ellen, you've been on all the big shows.
Yeah. So it was sort of like, but it was a great experience. I love The Voice. It's awesome. The singers on there are incredible. It was a great experience for me. So I've been to the Super Bowl. I've been on The Voice. I've been a chef. I'm a chef, executive chef. I'm a speaker, advocate. The only thing left is to be in a major film. I want to be in a major movie. That's my goal, to be in like a big major film. Just to have maybe a small part in and stuff or whatever. But that would be like awesome to do. So
let's
we know
let's put that out in the universe. Let's put it out there.
I have a book, so I'm trying to turn my book, Hate is Wrong. Alone in the Trenches into a movie. It's sort of like The Blind Side with a darker twist. So.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, we all know Ezra, the pinnacle is being on this podcast, this 24-minute show, of all the other things. Like, now you've really made it.
Yeah, now you've made it for sure because you've made it to 24 minutes.
24 minutes with Brady and Stacey. I mean, everything
24
else.
24 minutes and how much we've talked about a lot of things in 24 minutes.
We have gotten it going.
I don't know how much time we have left. What's your greatest NFL moment?
The greatest NFL moment was sacking Brett Favre. Yeah, that was my friend. So I was with Brett Favre in Green Bay. So. But he got me back, and it was funny because he got me back. And when we were in Green Bay, he was coming on the sideline, and he saw me, and he hit me, and like I went. Thank God. I don't think there's like footage of it, because right now it would be like a meme or something. Like it was just crazy. And I looked at it and I got up and he started laughing. I'm like, yeah. It was like, oh, yeah. But yeah, it was fun. So that was probably
There it goes.
And look at there.
Oh!
The time, that is perfect timing right
Perfect
there.
timing. Hateiswrong.org. Ezra, thank you so much for joining us today. It's
All right,
awesome.
aloha, you guys. Thank you.
Skol,
Love
brother.
you, E. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to 24 Minutes with Brady and Stacy.
That was the worst thing I ever heard. It was terrible. It was horrendous.
Well, it wasn't that bad.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, there were parts of it I liked.
Yeah, I liked a lot of it.
Yeah, it was good.
It was great.
It's wonderful.
Oh, bravo.
More.